All right, here's a little more serious question from Matt Sponsier in Tallahassee, Florida. He says, very excited about Giant Bomb. Looking forward to seeing how you grow and expand the site. However, I was wondering if you would elaborate on your decision to use a 5-star scale on your reviews as opposed to a 10-point scale, A to F letter grade, or other such options. Good question.
Sure. Yeah. We are working on, a bunch of documents that we will kind of spell out our process as we establish it, kind of what our approach to games is, and how we intend to employ that methodology to reviews and to everything else that we do. But yeah, one of the first decisions that I think that we agreed on was this 1 to 5 scale with no half stars, no half steps.
Just
no half step.
5 points.
Big Daddy Kane.
That's it.
And that just, I think that philosophy is coming from, I don't need 4 different ways to say how bad a game is. And I don't need more than I don't need 5 different ways to say how good a game is.
At a point
in score terms. Anyway.
At a point, I kind of believe that too much more granularity than that doesn't really help purchasing decisions.
Right.
It just kind of fuels petty internet arguments over which is better.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, this got a 6.3, so it's better than this game that got a 6.2.
I mean, it's for people that are looking at review aggregator sites and basing weird decisions off of that stuff.
Yeah, but meanwhile, there's the 5-star standard has been on the rise, just not in this kind of game review sense.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the reasons that I was very attracted to it and kind of a proponent for it here is that I use that. Like when I go and rate stuff on Netflix or something.
Yeah, or Amazon uses it. iTunes uses
it.
It's very clear to understand what a 5-star scale means.
Yeah,
You've got 2 things that are above average, 2 that are below, and 1 that's in the middle. And I think that you can definitely apply that to most games. I think the thing that's the thing about games and I think media in general these days, and it is kind of a thing that's been a trend that I think has been happening more and more, is that your own individual taste is going to shape your decision to purchase a game more so than any one review can.
Absolutely.
Or even a group of reviews. I think, because take a look at Smash Brothers, for example. They're going to, that game is going to do very well at game review sites. It's already doing very well out there. There are plenty of people that don't like it because it's not their type of game. Now, do they need to be able to compare that to, if a game gets a 9.6 to a 9.5, do they need to be able to make that comparison, or do they need to just be able to say, well, that's great that that's a quality example of that type of game. However, that type of game is not for me.
Yeah. And like there does not need to be a constant 1-to-1 between how much you like a game and the score it receives.
Right.
Like the overall kind of, general, because your tastes are going to vary. No one, at least I hope, is going to perfectly match lockstep that median score for every game.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone's going to have, there's going to be a lot of, Japanese RPGs out there that get great scores that I don't care about. And I know that about myself. And so it doesn't really matter.
So, yeah, that's, that is the methodology we're applying to game reviews. If we're giving something 3 stars, we're saying, this game's okay.
Yeah.
It's middle of the road. It's not broken. It's fine. Whatever.
If you try to then translate that into a 10-point scale somewhere else, and where a halfway down the scale is a game you don't ever want to touch,
right?
That doesn't really apply here. It's not really. It's not the same thing,
right?
And honestly, the other thing that I feel is that too much more granularity, on the review scale hurts the text, the impact that the text can have. Because if people are just looking at the score and then that is all the information they're getting about the game from that source, and not bothering to look at the whys of that stuff, then that's people complain about people not reading reviews. That's a pretty good reason for it.
Right. Though at the same time, I mean, that's not to say we want to force people to read reviews. It's just, we're going to give you this bite-sized piece of information that's this 1 to 5 score.
But it's the most at a glance that you can get.
Right, exactly. You will at a glance know if we think this game is good or bad. And ultimately, that's all that matters.
So there you go. That's kind of our reasonings behind the 5-point scale. I'm stoked about it.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to work out.
I agree entirely. And Matt, thanks for writing in with that excellent question.
Yep.